Joining me right now is a special advisor to the governor on agricultural matters, and I'm talking about Honorable Ruth Bisola Olusanya. Nice to have you in the building. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome to Traffic Radio.
Thank you.
It's your first time of being here, I suspect?
Yes, it is.
Good. So, do you listen to Traffic Radio?
Of course, I do.
What do you make of us?
I think Traffic Radio is doing a good job. And I know you have a lot of listenership. So you actually help us in terms of planning properly how to navigate traffic in Lagos. And I applaud you guys for doing that.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Job.
I'm not blushing anyway, but you're welcome. And also joining her this morning is the General Manager of the Lagos State Coconut Development Authority. And I'm talking about Dapo. Olakulehin. Nice to have you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let me start first with the special advisor to the governor on agricultural matters. That's Honorable Ruth Olusanya. It's been about 7 months since you were appointed as the special advisor to the governor on agricultural matters. How's it been for you so far so good with the agric ministry?
Okay, I think it's been a very fantastic journey. It had its ups and downs. I mean, coming from the private sector into the public sector, it's been a bit of a shock. But I think I'm well adjusted now to how things work in the public sector. So I think so far so good. It's actually been a good run. And more importantly, having to have interactions with different stakeholders. I mean, you're talking of from butchers to market women to government entities in the agricultural sector. It's actually been a big eye-opener for me. So I really appreciate the opportunity to serve the people of Lagos and to also serve under the administration of our amiable governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola.
Quite a lot of times, agriculture is not very much on the lips of people, but we know it's very, very important. So let's talk about the nature of that particular ministry. How many agencies are under this ministry?
So we have 4 agencies. We have LASCODA, which is the Lagos State Coconut Development Authority. We have ADA, which is the Agricultural Development Authority. We have ALHA, which is the Agricultural Land Holdings Authority. And then we also have the Input LAISA, which is the Lagos State Agricultural Input Supply Authority. So that those are the 4 parastatals or agencies.
Right.
And then we have departments as well.
A lot of times, people do not pay much attention to agriculture in Lagos because they feel, well, Lagos would not really have the land. But I know there's a whole lot in terms of the value chain with the agricultural sector. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about the vision for agriculture the year 2020 from your ministry.
Okay, so for the year 2020, our plan is actually to improve on this food security of Lagos. Currently, we're at about 18%, but in the next 3 to 4 years, we're hoping to up that to at least 40%. Yes, there's not so much focus, at least in the past, in agriculture, but we have to change that narrative. The reason being that as the world is undergoing this global pandemic, I mean, we have food security challenges globally. It's only going to get worse.
Right.
And we cannot keep leaving the destiny of food security for Lagosians in the hands of others.
Right.
We have to start taking that responsibility. So we have to look inwards now and see what we can do with the little land space we have.
That you have?
Yes.
Right.
There's so much in the technology space as well that we can apply going forward. So we don't have an excuse to say because we don't have land, we shouldn't focus on agriculture.
I'm just looking at the figures right now. 18% in terms of food security, and you want to show that up to 40%. 40%.
Yes.
That's going to be a huge task, madam.
Yes, it is.
All right, but you are well prepared for it.
Yeah, we are well prepared for it.
Okay, that's for the food. That food value chain you're talking about now. Does that include meat? Does it include crops? What's the breakdown?
Okay, so if I put you through, in terms of the areas where we have the competitive advantages in Lagos, we would talk about aquaculture. That's why we call Lagos the city of aquatic splendor. Obviously, we have enough water bodies around us. So aquaculture will be one. Poultry will be another. Piggery would be there. Rice, we would talk about rice because we are building the largest rice mill in Africa currently at the moment. We talk about vegetables as well, and then we talk about the red meat because we are the most consuming state for red meat in Nigeria. So these are the areas where we are trying to change the narrative in terms of looking at the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors. Where can we play? Where can we apply ourselves across these value chains to draw up enough value and to enhance our food security?
All right, then. I'm going to get back to you, Honorable Olusanya, but let me bring in Dapo Olakulehin, who is the General Manager for the Lagos State Coconut Development Agency. Now, Olakulehin, your agency is not one on the lips of people every day. But for those who really know, this agency has been in existence at least for a little while. What is the mandate that has been given to the Lagos State Coconut Development Agency?
Thank you. The mandate of Lagos State Coconut Development Authority is to promote the development and production of coconut, to promote the processing of coconut, also to promote the commercialization as well as utilization of coconut in all ramifications.
Right.
So these are the 4 pillars: production, processing, commercialization, and utilization of coconut in all ramifications.
I'll get to these 4 pillars in a very short while, but how long or how old is this agency?
The agency was established in 1996 but became operational in 1998.
Wow. So we're talking about 22 years
Yes.
of existence.
Yeah.
All right. So, but do we really have enough coconut that can form a belt in Lagos?
We have coconut belt in Lagos, and let me surprise you and tell you and inform you that Lagos contributes 70% of national coconut production. That is to say, if you see 10 coconuts that are locally produced in Nigeria, 7 of those coconuts will
come from Lagos.
From Lagos.
Wonderful.
So, and that's one of the reasons why Lagos State government is paying more attention to the issue of coconut, because we have it in Lagos, and it's with us. So the belt is about 180 kilometers, and by law and by nature, 1 kilometer setback from the ocean, you have coconut. By nature, that is the only crop that can stay there.
Right.
So that's why we are paying much attention to coconut development.
What part of the state can we find this belt, for instance?
From Badagry to Ibejuleki, that belt that you see, that along the coastline, so that is what you call coconut. But apart from that, we have a lot of communities in riverine area of the state. I mean, when you across Lagoon, from Badagry, Ojo, Ibejuleki, and Amuwodofe, all those local government areas, you have a lot of reference that naturally their vegetation is coconut. But we don't get to see them in the Keja, but by the time you cross the lagoon, you see a lot of coconut there.
All right. So someone who's listening to us right now might just be wondering, coconut, the one that we just, buy and eat around. But what are the economic benefits of this fruit, for instance?
Well, there are some economies of the world, like the Philippines, like the Sri Lanka, that their economy largely depends on coconut as value chain.
You mean it?
Yes, because from that coconut tree that you see, we can get up to 128 products. Byproducts from coconut. And there's no part of coconut tree that could be considered a waste.
Right.
So we have coconut. So presently we are underusing the potentials of coconut. And let me add that recently, in the last 10 years, there is increase in demand of coconut products all over the world by close to 500%.
Okay.
Because of the awareness in the economic and health potential of coconut. You see, a lot of people now, they want to go organic, and they know the importance of coconut oil and other coconut product, coconut milk, coconut water, and a lot of them. So the awareness has increased over the year, and there is pressure on the need for coconut products.
Now you said 128 byproducts, right?
Yes.
So apart from the coconut milk, the coconut oil, coconut candies that some of us are used to, what else can one get from coconut?
We have activated charcoal from coconut.
Okay.
Then we have, apart from the oil, the water, we have a lot of derivatives. The trunk itself, the trunk of coconut, there are so many things you can make out of it. Apart from that, the shell of coconut, in actual sense, the husk and the shell, you can get more product from the husk and the shell. The jute bag that we use, you can get it from the husk of the coconut, the foot mat, so many fabrics, so many things, other things that you can get from coconut. The roots of coconut, highly medicinal. In pharmaceutical industries, they use a lot of coconut products.
Okay. I was just about coming to that, really, but I think the special advisor wants to add to that, right?
No, yeah. So what I just wanted to say was you can even categorize the industries that actually make use of this coconut. So you're talking about the healthcare industry, the textile industry, the cosmetics industry, and the food and beverage industry. So when you do this categorization, then it can also help you to ascertain like the uses and the derivatives that you can get. You have coconut sugar, like you had mentioned earlier, and so many other products.
Right.
And that's why they refer to the coconut as the tree of life, because nothing on the coconut tree is wasted.
I love the way you've just described it now. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're getting inside the world of the Ministry of Agriculture with specific reference to the Coconut Development Authority. And my guest, very, very eloquent and taking us to the classroom this morning. I have the special advisor to the governor on agric matters, and I'm talking about Honorable Ruth Bisola Olusanya, as well as the general manager for LASCODA, that's Lagos State Coconut Development Authority, in the person of Dapo, Olakulehin. All right, the last report we got on the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway corridor is very, very busy. From Goyi towards National, you need to watch out for movement around that location. Nothing untoward, nothing unusual, even though we had a breakdown earlier on around cement, but it's been worked on, and that has been taken off. At Fagba, there is a broken down trailer just by that location there, and it's backlogging traffic to Amala bus stop. So you need to watch out for movement also within that corridor. The Third Milan Bridge is good from the entry point, proceeding towards the Unilag waterfront. You might meet some slowness there. Beyond that point to Adekunle and Adeniji is also slow a bit. Watch out for movement there. But I need the latest update from Ikorodu Road. So last mile monitors, traffic managers rather, as well as the control room, you can help us keep an eye on that particular corridor. We're going to go on a short break right now. One message. When we return, we'll still dwell more on this. There's this argument, where does coconut really belong? Is it a plant? Is it a fruit? Or what category? How can we categorize it? All right, we'll dwell on that as well. Plus the vision for production of coconut and then the value chain that is involved in the Ministry of Agriculture. We'll be reflecting on all of that, but you need to keep us company. We'll be back. So let's talk about the ministry. Madam, earlier on you talked about what you guys are doing this year, trying to ensure that the food security aspect of Lagosians is going to be secured with a shore up of a 40%. That's the projected vision, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about how you intend to actualize this as the year goes on. This is the first quarter of the year, almost running off already.
Yes.
So talk to me.
Okay, so looking at what we have on our plate, obviously we have a 4-year stretch to do what we have to do. But in year one already, we've had 2 stakeholders summits, because this time around we said rather than just addressing problems without really knowing what the feedback from the stakeholders are, we wouldn't do that. So we had stakeholders summit twice. And that was just to get the feedback from those in those value chains specifically.
Right.
So we had people in the aquaculture value chain, the red meat value chain, rice value chain, and so many others, poultry, piggery. And we also invited several banks. We invited CBN, Bank of Agriculture, and so many other bodies just to help us in dissecting properly the issues around each of these value chains and then proffering solutions. So we've come out with a 5-year roadmap, agricultural roadmap, that we are to go by.
Okay.
To help in shoring up the food security from 18% to 40%. And one of the key initiatives that we'll be driving going forward is in getting access to market.
Okay.
So we have a lot of those farmers that come out with their produce, their livestock, but they don't have a good access point to the market. So you end up seeing them selling more to the middlemen who would make more of the margin. So the farmers end up not making as much margin as they should,
right,
which the middlemen are taking over, and then they are able to sell off. But what this translates to is that the farmers are no longer encouraged to do as much as they should, which inadvertently affects the food security status of Lagos. So we are trying to change that narrative. I'm sure you must have met with the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, Prince Bola Lawal, in the past couple of months or weeks, if I recollect properly.
Right.
And I'm sure he would have enumerated properly on the Eco-City Farmers Market Initiative, which we started just last month. So part of this was we want to have that market that, you know, is supposed to be the prototype of what we want Lagos markets to look like. I'm sure a lot of us are not happy going into Mile 12 market and so many other markets that we find very uncomfortable buying things from. So the Eco-City Farmers Market Initiative is more or less to show a prototype of what we want markets to look like in Lagos, where people can come even with their kids. They can see so many agricultural produce and livestock in a clean, wholesome environment, properly displayed items, sanitized and all of that. So that's actually one of the key initiatives that we'll be driving forward in this administration.
And somebody will be asking the question now, because I know a lot of times we do talk about the impact of these markets on traffic flow and all of that. A lot of times people do ask the question, Mile 12 market, is it going to be relocated, or are we still going to have the same thing year in, year out?
So the truth of the matter is, I don't think this is the right place for me to start talking about the Mile 12 market, whether they'll be relocating or not. But what I just want to assure Lagosians is that we are definitely working on it. Even if the relocation doesn't happen as when it should, we want to ensure that going forward, the Mile 12 market as it is today, we want to make sure that it's better.
Upgraded.
Yes, upgraded, exactly. Because I think Lagosians deserve that at this point in time. Yes. And then, so apart from the Eco-City Farmers Market Initiative, we are looking into the different value chains, like I'd mentioned, for the rice mill, for instance, the Imota rice mill, which is the largest in Africa at this point, 32 metric tons per hour. I mean, if you look at what we had met from last year, May, and what we have up till date, I mean, the mill is about 65%, 70% complete, and we hope to be able to commission the mill before the end of this year, 2020. So much is going on right now. We have parboiling machines already installed. We have silos already on ground. We have warehouses completed already. So just a few things here. The milling lines will start installation by next month. So much is ongoing, and we have paddy aggregators already coming together. So there's so much going on in that direction, because if you know, rice is the second most consumed food commodity in the world, and it's actually part of what enforces what we call the food security index. So if you're able to supply rice to your people at a good price, at a good rate, then it's also one of the key metrics that you can use to measure what this administration is doing in that regard.
All right, let's get back to the Coconut Development Authority, and let me bring him back, my friend Olakulehin. Let's talk about coconut farming, because you just mentioned that you have 4 pillars, right? So before we dwell on these 4 pillars, coconut farming, what does it take to grow a coconut? Let's just look at that, really.
Well, to grow a coconut, you need a land, which is critical, which is a critical factor of production. Apart from that, you need the seedlings. The technology for seedling production is not at the farmer's level. So, and that's one of the functions of the authority. We make seedlings, we produce seedlings. That is, as coconuts, as day chick is to the poultry farming, so also is the seedlings. It's a very critical factor of production when you're talking of planting of coconut, the establishment of coconut plantation.
So can I have the patience really to grow a coconut? I mean, how many years does it take to grow?
Now, the technology has improved that we have coconut that can start fruiting as from 3rd year after planting.
But naturally, it's supposed to take like 5 years, 6 years?
No. I don't want to say naturally. We have 2 varieties or 3 varieties of coconut now. The first one is West African tall, which is natural too, and it starts fruiting as from 6th to 7th year after planting. The other one that I call dwarf, that is of short variety, it's also in its natural state, which can start producing at the 3rd year after planting. We have the 3rd one, which is hybrid, which is in between West African tall and the other one that matures early. Now, the issue is that those 3 varieties, they have their own comparative advantage. You wouldn't say because West African tall is taking 6 years before it starts producing. It has its own peculiar advantage. So also is the dwarf.
Okay.
Has its own peculiarity. The same thing goes for the hybrid variety.
Right.
So, and when you are talking of tree crop, you need to have patience with it. It is not vegetable that you plant within. So what you are going to lose now,
right,
if you are waiting for the next 3 or 4 years,
you gain it later.
You gain it because.
And I remember my agric very well. They say it's a cash crop, right?
It's a cash crop that can last for close to 80 to 100 years.
You mean it?
So it's a generation crop. So you are not losing anything if you plant a coconut.
All right. We're going to interact with the listening audience very, very shortly so that they can also have their input into this. But let's just quickly reflect on these 4 pillars which you mentioned, your vision for 2020. You said production. Let's talk about that a bit. The 4 pillars for the Lagos State Coconut Development.
Yes. Not for 2020.
Okay.
But the mandate.
The mandate that's given
is to promote the production, the processing, commercialization, and utilization.
Right.
In the area of production, we realize that the Lagos State, naturally, the coconut is our crop, like the SA said, is tree of life, is tree of Lagos. And that's why in the crest of Lagos State, you have 2 coconut trees there. So that shows the importance that the Lagos State put coconut, and the founding fathers, they must have considered coconut to be very, very important, to have put it in the crest of the state.
Right.
Now, what we want to achieve is that presently we are operating altogether. We have close to 2.5 million coconut trees.
2.5 million,
close to that.
Wow.
And Lagos State has capacity of having up to 10 million coconut trees. So the strategy we are using is that we want to change the landscape of Lagos State. We want to incorporate coconut into the landscape of Lagos State, and we have discussing with LASPAC.
Okay.
And to the extent that this year, by the grace of God, coconut is going to be one of the trees to be planted during the tree planting day. So we are encouraging everybody. If you have a little space in your compound, within your office premises, plant coconut tree. Because that is what is happening in other claims. So that what will happen is aggregation. If you have 2 coconut trees, and the coconut can give you up to 100 nuts in a year, definitely you can consume everything. You have some to release to the market. So we can start aggregating this coconut. So if you have 2 or 3, it's an economic tree, and it's also helping the environment. So the objective is to push a lot of coconut seedlings out there this year.
All right. So how readily available are these seedlings? If I'm interested right now, for instance,
we have available. We have enough seedlings that can go around. But I'm happy to tell us that Mr. Governor has approved production of massive coconut seedlings this year, which we started en masse. So hopefully we are to push more than 120,000 seedlings out this year by June, July this year.
All right, let me just have a sentence from the special advisor on this. So you guys are hoping to push over 120,000, you said?
Yes, please. And the intention is for the tree planting day for us to distribute this 120,000 seedlings to the 57 local government and LCDAs in Lagos State to ensure that in each local government or LCDA we have coconut trees planted. And part of what he said, let's look at the housing industry, for instance. In other climes, for instance, Ghana, it is compulsory that if you're building a house, you must plant a tree, minimum 1 tree in your compound. And I think we need to start doing that also in Lagos State, because there's so much deforestation. We keep hearing, oh, Lagos is sinking, Lagos is below sea level, this and that, flooding and all of these things. And that is because we keep cutting down trees without planting at the rate at which we are cutting. So part of the initiative going forward and starting off with this tree planting day, which will take place in July, is to ensure that people start planting.
All right, then Honorable Olusanya and Olakulehin, let's see if we can extend this conversation much beyond the studio to also have an input from our listeners out there. Are we ready? Okay, then let's go. 0809-912-0777. Yes, we are getting inside the world of the Lagos State Coconut Development Authority, and majorly also looking at the Ministry of Agriculture in Lagos. So if you have any questions or you want to react to any of the things that have been said by my guests this morning, you can join the conversation right away on 0809-912-0777. Hello there, good morning. Yeah, good morning. Oh, okay. It's a very bad connection. We'll try and see how we clean that up and take the next one that will come in. The number still remains the same, 0809-912-0777. Talk to me.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Victor, good morning. Sam from Ikorodu.
Nice to hear from Sam. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, then. So I have my guest here. You want to say hello to them?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Not the couple.
Good morning.
Permit me on that. Yes. Quite an interesting discussion this morning. However, the concerns I have about agriculture in Lagos State is this. I know that a lot of lands around, let's say from Agbowa down to Ekpe, are lands that are meant for agriculture. But in recent times, you will discover that a lot of these lands have been overtaken by estates. And that reduces the space for agriculture in Lagos State. Now, you mentioned that you're building the largest rice farm. My major concern about that is how will they get raw materials, owing to the fact that the production of rice in Lagos, I don't think that mill has the capacity to, I don't think we produce enough rice, that mill, to be able to work. And then the second concern is about processing, food processing. For instance, this coconut we're talking about, coconut has a lot of byproducts. But the major issue we have here is you will see that we produce a lot of things that, if processed, will earn more foreign exchange. But we prefer to take them abroad in their raw materials, and we earn very, very little. I think we should focus on researches on process.
Hello, Sam. Hello. Okay, the network seems to have knocked off Sam, but I think he's made his point.
Yes.
So he's got three issues here. We're going to come back to that. Well, let's hear from you out there. Any questions for the special advisor and also to the general manager of LASCODA? Feel free to join us. Hello there. Hello. Hello, are you there? Okay, another bad connection. 0809-912-0777. Thunderland Bridge is still looking good at the moment. Ikorodu Road, busy from mile 12. But let's hear from you. Hello, talk to me. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. This is Edo calling in from Lekki. Good morning, Zikidi.
Good morning. What's your name again?
Oh, yes, this is Biodu calling from Lekki.
Oh, Biodu, it's quite a long time. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. Just calling to say hi.
All right. So you're not thinking of joining the agri sector, Abiodun? Oh, he's gone. All right. I'm just thinking that will be my next question to the general manager of LASCODA, by the way. How do we encourage youth into this area? But let's go on. Let's see here from you. Talk to me. 0809-912-0777. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right. Okay, Sam is back.
My name is Samuel from Ikorodu.
Another Sam?
Another Sam, yes.
Oh, good. All right. So, Sam, talk to me.
Good. I actually appreciate the program. Like what the earlier caller said with respect to the capacity of the mill that is being built in Mota, it's a very good one. I don't think we have the land mass to produce bread that or are we getting the raw material from somewhere else? That's one of my questions.
Okay. All right.
And the second one is having we have a lot of resources in this country that we can convert to a lot of materials. Coconut is one of them. Good. Plantain, even the plantain trees, they can use it for paper. I've learned about that too. We have a lot of advantages in that. Plantain tree, plantain leaves, and so on and so forth. The one concern I have is this: if I'm going to plant any tree in my compound, we have one limitation.
Okay.
The limitation is all these electric poles and electric wire that can make it. Because I know that if I plant trees in front of my house now, and there is a naked wire that passes across my compound, how do we handle that?
Okay, very good question. All right, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah. So, and then again, how do we get these seedlings? Because presently, if I want to plant in my compound now, I need more than 2 or 3 or 4.
Oh.
If everybody like me want to have that, we have enough to go around negotiations to plant in their compound. I have enough compound to plant even up to 10. Can I have access to 10 seedlings? Is it possible?
Is your compound like a 4-acre or a 2-acre?
No, it's just 2 plots. I've just earmarked about half a plot.
Okay, for planting. Oh, that's good. That's good.
If I plant 10 trees here, I think it's okay for me. But my question is, do we have enough seedlings to go around negotiations who have similar requests?
All right, very good. Thank you so much. My guest will respond to you. I'm going to take just one more before I return the baton to the two of them, and then they can respond to all the concerns that you have raised. And that'll be one more call: 0809-912-0777. Hello there.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tunde. I'm calling from Meron.
Please turn down the volume of that radio.
Okay, it's turned down.
Okay, so your name is what? Tunde?
Tunde from Meron.
All right, Tunde, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to thank the two presenters, the special advisor to the agriculture, the governor on agriculture, and the general manager for LASCODA. My question is for the general manager of LASCODA.
Okay.
In the statement, it said there is a possibility that during the tree planting day,
Yes.
they are going to plant coconut.
Yes.
I'm now looking at that. Is it not possible for them to get the low-cost housing estate involved, since we have them scattered around the whole state and the estate belongs to the government?
Oh.
Is it not possible for them to make use of those compounds? For instance, where I stay, where we have about 174 buildings, if they can plant coconut seedling in each of the building in front of it, apart from the ornamental value and all those values that I have mentioned, they can get to there, and I don't think they need to start disturbing anybody.
All right. Very good question. Yeah, he will respond to you. He will respond.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, then. So let's get back to you, and then you can address some of these concerns that they have raised. So where are we starting from? Is it the rear or from the top?
Okay, so I think I'll start with the very first caller. He had asked about land encroachment around the Kurudu, Agboa, Ekpe axis.
Yes, most of them being used for estates
Being
instead
used
of
for
farming.
estates, yes. And it's a fact. The truth of the matter is when you don't secure something, obviously it is tantamount to abuse, and you have land grabbers encroaching on agricultural lands. But I can assure you that we are taking steps towards mitigating this. We've started with enumeration, checking out all the lands we have, surveying using the GIS technology. So we're trying to put together all the lands we have under the Agricultural Land Holdings Authority to ascertain what we have, and then going forward, even in people coming to request for lands for agric development, we now want to make sure that people are actually going to use it for what they've asked for.
Right.
You have people coming in making requests for agric lands, but they end up using it for something else. That is stopping going forward. So we want to make sure people start bringing business plans, proposals, and we'll give a timeline to when they should be able to implement what they have said they are going to implement, so that they don't convert it to something else.
Very good.
Then
now, rice mill.
Yeah, so on the rice mill, for the raw materials, true, Lagos doesn't have enough land for planting rice. But we have actually identified over 2,000-3,000 hectares of farmland in Lagos that can be used towards the rice production. But majority of the rice paddy will still be acquired from other localities outside of Lagos State. So we are looking to the southwest area, southwest zone, working hand in hand with the Dawn Commission, Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, to see how we can get other states that have massive farmland to partner with us, so that we can grow the paddy in those areas aside Lagos to be able to feed the rice mill.
All right. I think the concern of Sam is equally addressed with that response which you just made right now.
Exactly.
But let's get back to Olakulehin, and then you can address the concern of my friend who has enough land in his compound. He wants to plant coconut, but he's worried what happens with the electric poles in his compound.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly add to what the SA said regarding the issue of land encroachment.
Right.
I think going forward in Lagos State now, we are more concerned about agricultural intensification. though there are some agricultural practices like coconut plantation that you definitely need land. But the technology has so improved to the extent that there are some agricultural practices that you just need small land.
Okay.
State of Israel, the land is
very small,
and they are doing a lot. So the ministry is trying to deploy technology so that with on a small scale of land, we get maximum higher yield from what we are doing. So that is on that. Then on the issue of coconut seedlings, we have coconut seedlings, and I want to allay the fear of the caller that the type of coconut seedling we are pushing out there is what I call urban-friendly coconut seedling.
Okay.
Urban-friendly coconut seedling. Before they can reach the height of electric pole, you are talking of the next 20 years. So they start fruiting as
the third year.
At the third year, so where their height will still be less than a meter.
All right.
So we have that.
So it should not entertain any fear.
It should not entertain any fear.
All right.
And I want to also say we have our extension officers out there. Just give us a call where you want to plant your coconut. We are ready to come and give you technical assistance.
All right.
In terms of availability, we have improved coconut ceilings at our farm service center, Okwoba, Agege, along Old Abekuta Motor Road.
Right.
At the same time, we have in Mo coconut ceiling. We have a nursery plantation at Mo. Then somebody also
that's Tunde from Mero. He's suggesting why don't you enter into partnerships with all the estates in Lagos?
I'm coming there. Somebody also asked about the processing. That is part of what Lagos State government is doing now. We know that presently we are underutilizing coconut, and we are looking at a lot of private investors that are coming in to invest in coconut processing.
Right.
So that when you get a nut, you make maximum use of the nut. You tap everything. It's just like coconut is just like crude oil. The more you deploy technology, the more you invest in it, the more you get more product.
Right.
In terms of linking up with the farm estate, of course, before
quickly
July 14, we are working with Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
You can come up with a position in that direction.
On the position where we're going to work with the CDs.
All right. Because of time, really, not really our friend. Lots to talk about, but time has really flown, and we have to move right now. But SA to the governor, quickly, in 30 seconds, we're talking about coronavirus being around today.
Yes.
What is the ministry doing to also ensure that you curtail and contain the spread of the virus from your ministry? What will you be doing?
Okay, so I think even for any visitor coming into the ministry now, you have to sanitize your hands before you get into anyone's office. You have to sanitize your hands. And I just want to also highlight that the Agricultural Development Authority, just a week ago, they held a workshop where they taught people how to make hand sanitizers, which I think is actually a very good initiative.
Markets, are you fumigating? Are you doing?
Fumigation has been ongoing since beginning of this administration, and even I think sometime this week also markets are being fumigated, not just even for coronavirus alone, but even for Lassa fever. So deratization has been ongoing. So I think that Lagos State is on top of things.
We have to end the conversation now, but it's so nice having you in the building. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right, so I've been speaking with the special advisor to the governor on agricultural matters. I'm talking about Honorable Ruth Bisola Olusanya, and equally the general manager of LASCODA and the president of Dapo, Olakulehin. But we have to go. The program this morning has been produced by Korede Bamishile. Of course, you can continue that conversation on our social media platform at Lagos Traffic 961, and you can view this program again on our YouTube channel, Traffic Radio 961. All right, tomorrow the program will make a return with another issue of great importance. But till then, this is Victor Oteri. I'm saying stay safe. Bye.